My name is John Alexander. I'm on the faculty in the School of Architecture and Planning, and I'm going to be speaking a little bit about the educational opportunities that we provide to study architecture, both in a professional program as well as in a research degree. Can I have the next slide, please? Architecture is very alive and well in San Antonio, and San Antonio has a really interesting architectural heritage that is available to all who come to visit or to all who live here. We've got some fantastic monuments that go back really to the founding of the city of San Antonio, even though the area had been inhabited for millennia by Native Americans. The city of San Antonio dates its foundation to the arrival of the Franciscan missionaries. And up and down the San Antonio River, we've got a string of these mission churches that still exist, as well as some of the ancillary buildings. And this is really the heart of San Antonio. And these missions are now recognized as World Heritage Sites and have sort of become known and understood on a much larger scale than just within the city of San Antonio. But over the following centuries, San Antonio has developed into a very interesting architectural center on its own. That's due in part to the contributions of some recognized architects such as O'Neill Ford, but also in part due to the continuing presence and the continuing architectural production of contemporary firms. Probably the most well-known these days includes the firm of Lake Flato Architects. Now, interestingly, many of the classes that are taught within the professional program are taught by practicing architects. A lot of the design studios that our students take, both at the graduate and undergraduate level, again, are taught by these practicing architects. And so there's a degree of real world experience that our students achieve in our programs. And there's also contacts with the professional community that our students have just by virtue of taking classes with us. And so whether it's in the design studios where you get to work with some of these architects, or if it's in our career fair, the links with the professional community are certainly there for our students. Can I have the next slide, please? The School of Architecture and Planning has a mission statement, which we see here. We are committed to excellence in education, scholarship, and community engagement in the context of planning, design, and construction of a sustainable built environment. And this mission statement really goes to the heart of what it is that we hope to achieve in our programs and in our coursework. Can I have the next slide, please? I won't dwell too much on the numbers or the statistics that we have here, but we are a school that has interior design, architecture, and urban and regional planning. And we've got roughly 650 students taking courses and also taking advantage of a whole series of other opportunities that they have available to them, whether it's through our libraries, through the different labs that we have, or some of the community engagement and study abroad programs that we have. But those who join our program will be part of a very vibrant and rich community of people who study architecture, planning, and interior design, whether it's professionally or whether it's as students. Can I have the next slide, please? The school is located on UTSA's downtown campus with our classes and studios occurring in a variety of the buildings downtown. And the choice of the downtown campus for the school was something quite intentional. Downtown is the business center for San Antonio. It is the location of a number of the design firms. And being downtown is, we hope, a way of making that connection with the design community. so that the students who study here, the faculty who come and teach our students will be in close proximity. And we hope that that really fosters a good working relationship between the education and the practice of these different design fields. Can I have the next slide, please? Among the degrees that we offer in the School of Architecture and Planning, we've got a professional architecture degree, and we've got a research degree in architecture. The professional degree program is the Master of Architecture. And that degree provides the academic credentials with which an alumnus or alumna can pursue licensure and become a registered practicing architect in the United States. The research degree is the Master of Science in Architecture. And this degree program provides the opportunity to study with one of our faculty members in preparation for further academic study or research service to an architectural firm. And we'll come back and take a look at each of these degree programs in greater depth, but there are a couple of points that I'd like to make about these two degrees just from the very start. Can I have the next slide, please? Our Master of Architecture degree program was granted an 8-year term of accreditation. NAB, or NAAB, is the National Architectural Accreditation Board, and that's the professional organization that accredits architectural program. And our Master of Architecture was granted an 8-year term of accreditation. And so this is an accredited degree that, again, will provide the credentials necessary to pursue a professional degree as a practicing architect. Can I have the next slide, please? In 2019, the Master of Architecture and the Master of Science of Architecture were both designated to be STEM degree programs. And so there was a content to both of these degree programs that was strong enough in science and technology, and to a degree engineering and math, that allowed these degree programs to be designated STEM programs. For international students, this is particularly noteworthy because it's going to provide the possibility of adding a 3-year optional practical training period onto your student visa. So it's a possibility, but it is there because we are STEM degree programs. Can I have the next slide, please? So I'd like to start by giving a little bit of information about the professional degree program, the Master of Architecture. And we've got 2 different degrees within the Master of Architecture. The first is Master of Architecture 2, which is a 2-year degree program for applicants who have, or soon will have, a 4-year undergraduate degree in architecture. We also have the Master of Architecture 3, which is a 3-year degree program for applicants who have, or soon will have, a 4-year undergraduate degree in any other discipline. Okay, so non-architecture. Can I have the next slide, please? Here we're taking a look at a curricular chart for the Master of Architecture 2 program, which shows column by column, fall, spring semester, the way that ideally the required courses will be taken within a 2-year sequence. This is a minimum 2-year sequence. Following carefully this chart, you would be able to graduate with your accredited master's degree in 2 years. There's a total of 52 semester credit hours for the degree program. And if you take a look at the top row, you can see the studio courses. As a professional degree program, the backbone of this is going to be the design studio. And you can see those 4 design studios that are listed up there. Again, the backbone of the professional degree program. Can I have the next slide, please? And here we're taking a look at the curricular chart for the Master of Architecture 3 program. Again, this is for people who do not have an undergraduate degree in architecture, but rather an undergraduate degree in any other discipline, but would like to become a practicing registered architect. There is an additional year of preparatory classes, which you can see in the first 3 rows here, reading from the left to the right, that will prepare the students to join in the design studios and all the other classes alongside with students who do have an undergraduate degree in architecture. So it's a longer period of time. There are more classes that are required. There is up to 52 semester credit hours in addition to the 40 semester credit hours of preparatory work. And again, if you take a look at the top row here, you can see the design studios that are going to provide the backbone of this professional degree program. So this is the other professional degree program that we offer, but both Master of Architecture 2 and Master of Architecture 3 award upon completion an accredited Master of Architecture degree. Can I have the next slide, please? With all of those design studios, we hope to foster studio culture among our students, which is going to provide them with the opportunity to not only work with faculty on hypothetical design projects, but also to learn from each other and to have a cohort of colleagues with which they can test out their ideas in the design studio. Can I have the next slide, please? Here we're taking a look at just one particularly interesting design that a student produced, and this is just one drawing that he presented in a jury or in a design critique. But this is the sort of work that our students do, taking hypothetical projects and coming up with solutions in design. Can I have the next slide, please? And those designs are presented to groups of students, groups of faculty, as well as different professionals from design firms around San Antonio that we invite in for their presentations. Can I have the next slide, please? The other degree that we offer is the Master of Science of Architecture. And again, this degree provides the opportunity to study with one of our faculty members in preparation for further academic study or research service to an architectural firm. Can I have the next slide, please? And here we're taking a look at the curricular chart for the Master of Science of Architecture. This degree program is intentionally left flexible. And if you take a look at the different rows there, you might be able to see a number of electives there. It's intentionally flexible so that the student and the advisor of his or her choice can design a curriculum from among the courses offered in the School of Architecture and Planning and even around the university to design a curriculum that is going to provide the student with the educational background to conduct research and to produce a thesis. There are 33 semester credit hours for this, and it culminates in a written thesis produced under the direction of the academic mentor. Can I have the next slide, please? Now, all students within the School of Architecture and Planning have the opportunity to engage in community service projects. Often these community projects are connected to the research of different faculty members or the research of different students. And it also develops skills among the students and a relationship between the students, different community groups, and different professionals within San Antonio. Can I have the next slide, please? We are also always interested in design build projects, where the work that a studio engages in over the course of the semester involves designing the project and then giving the students hands-on experience with producing that design by actually building the project. In many cases, this involves work in the wood shop, or can I have the next slide, please? There's also the possibility of digital fabrication, which is becoming more and more common in architecture, and also more and more common among these design build projects, where it's digital fabrication rather than hands-on work in the wood shop that is going to provide the building components that the students then assemble on site. And so there's a lot of exciting opportunities with both old and new technology for producing these design build projects. Can I have the next slide, please? We also have a number of study abroad opportunities. Within the master's degree programs, the longest lasting is the graduate exchange program in Italy, where we have exchanges with the University of Rome. Students come here, we go there, but we're always expanding the opportunities that we have. We have short-term opportunities in Mexico City, as well as in Valencia, in Spain, that are becoming certainly popular, but that are becoming more well-entrenched within our different degree programs. But the exchange with Rome has been the longest lived of all of these programs, specifically for the graduate students. Can I have the next slide, please? Now, there are other opportunities within the School of Architecture and Planning, and these include dual degrees. It's possible when you enter into one of the master's degree programs to apply to a second program that has a dual degree arrangement, and in that way finish up both master's degrees in less time. We have a dual degree arrangement between the Master of Architecture and the Master of Science of Architecture, where at the end of that degree program, you would have 2 master's degrees. But because 5 classes are shared between these degree programs, you would finish in less time. Similarly, we have a dual degree program between the Master of Science in Architecture and the Master of Science in Urban and Regional Planning. Again, you would finish with 2 master's degrees, but 5 classes would be shared between the 2. In addition, we have some different graduate level certificates that we offer. Dr. Griffin already noted the Urban and Regional Planning Certificate, but we also have a certificate in historic preservation and a certificate in high performance design and sustainability. It's possible to earn these certificates by carefully organizing the electives in the different degree programs that we have. And this should be something to discuss with the graduate advisor when you are accepted into the program. In addition, we also offer a building performance track within the PhD program in civil engineering. And so the degree is a civil engineering degree, and the organization of the degree program is within civil engineering. But within that, there is a building performance track that draws upon the knowledge and expertise of faculty within the School of Architecture and Planning. Can I have the next slide, please? For those of you who are interested in applying, we've got many of the requirements that are common for graduate programs. We've got the application, transcripts are required, and if you are an international applicant, the transcripts need to be evaluated by the Foreign Credential Service of America. We require letters of recommendation, statements of purpose. If you are applying to the Master of Architecture degree program, we require a portfolio. But if you're applying to the Master of Science in Architecture program, there's no portfolio, but rather writing samples that we require. So there are some slight changes in the application requirements depending on which program of study you're interested in pursuing. You can have the next slide, please. Now, this may be a little difficult to copy down quickly. Perhaps you'll be able to zoom in or maybe save this page. But on the website for the CLESE College of Engineering and Integrated Design, within the School of Architecture and Planning site, we do have a frequently asked questions page that can give more information about all of these requirements, as well as a little bit of direction in terms of putting together your portfolio or writing your statement of purpose, etc. So you might want to take a look at that if if you have questions about the application process. Next slide, please. And I would love to discuss our degree programs or the opportunities that they provide to students, but I'll leave it here at this point, and invite all of you to send me an email. My email address is up there, and I am more than happy to discuss what it is that we do, what it is that we can offer to students, and what it is that students can do with the education that they earn here at UTSA. So with that, I'll conclude and pass it over to questions and answers.
Could you please talk a little bit more about the design studio classes and what they entail?
The design studio, again, the backbone of architectural education, sets up a limited group of students, usually 14, 15 students, with a faculty member who is either going to be a practicing architect, or it can be an architectural scholar. And what they do over the course of the semester is to take one or more hypothetical projects and design them. And it's, on the one hand, a very close one-on-one relationship between a faculty member and a student about coming up with the design, developing the design, making it practical, just the design decisions that need to be made over the course of the semester. But in many ways, this is also a learning environment where the students are certainly aware of what the other students are doing. And it's very much group learning. And it's experiential learning in that you're learning to become an architect by doing what an architect does, by taking a design project, taking a look at the program, the requirements. Often there's some indication about what the client might desire for the project. And then with the assistance of the faculty member, coming up with the design and developing the design. So it's a really interesting, complicated, messy, but beautiful educational environment where, again, students learn to become architects step by step by doing what it is that architects do.
I have a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Science. Could you please tell me more about the Sustainable Architecture concentration?
We've got a number of faculty in the School of Architecture and Design who conduct research on various aspects of what we might generally term sustainability, which in architectural terms can involve the choice of materials for the building. Are these renewable materials? What is the carbon footprint of these materials? What is the environmental impact of using these materials? These faculty members also might examine the environmental quality of the building interior, or they might investigate the energy consumption for inhabiting the building over the lifetime of the building. Whatever they study, we've got faculty who are examining the sustainability of these buildings. The concentration or the certificate in high performance design and sustainability is intended to allow students to come and to benefit from the expertise of the faculty. The certificate itself is a 15 credit hour certificate that requires 5 classes. There are a couple of classes that are required for the certificate, and then there are a number of electives that can be chosen from a group of options. And it's possible to pursue a certificate individually, or you can fold the certificate program into the electives required for one of our degree programs. And so it's possible to obtain a certificate either on its own or within a degree program. Now, having said that, international students for visa requirements need to be enrolled as degree-seeking students. But it is possible within a degree program to also obtain a certificate by choosing carefully your electives. So lots of information here. If you need any clarification, please email me and I will be more than happy to do what I can to answer your questions.